People of power, welcome to Mount Fitness MBS, where I am your host, Brother Minister Mongoose. And if you're tuning in to the first time, guys, or for the first time, guys, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. So this ministry believes that when we do something each and every day to show thanks for the fact that He has given us a mental me. Well, there's a mental me, and all these things are applicable to you. But when you do something every single day to show thanks that He has given you a mental you, a physical you, and a spiritual you. When you do something every single day in each one of those areas of your life, this is what really makes our journey more fulfilling, more purposeful. We're able to move forward with more, effectiveness, efficiency. We're able to have things like fulfillment and walk into these treacherous paths where it's a lot of unknowns, but we can still maintain our God-given authenticity. All these things are downloaded to us in a much more abundance, and we're able to receive and embrace these things that much more clearly and that much more, again, efficiently and effectively when we do something each and every day to show Him thanks for the different, all three of the aspects that He has given you. And of course, me doing the same for all of the different aspects of me that He has given me. So that's what this ministry is all about. We also research anything, guys, that we believe is relative and that is substantive when it comes to the human experience. So whether it's current affairs, social matters, political topics, spiritual topics, scientific discoveries, you name it. So just click on the videos that may resonate with you, and God willing, you will be clicking on perhaps even some that don't necessarily resonate with you, just out of sheer curiosity, which in turn also keeps the brain synapses firing and keeps your brain healthy, active, efficient, and things of that nature. So again, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about a message that is for both the 144,000 and the chosen ones. If you guys are familiar with this channel, you know that in my belief, the information, my research, my study, my connection with this thing that we call God, universe, whatever you want to call it, my personal take that I believe wholeheartedly is a universal truth as well. But I believe there's a distinction between the 144,000 and the chosen ones. The 144,000 are those of us who were born, and this is the ones that the Bible referred to that were, the good book says that before the earth was even created, He knew us. And so everything in our lives have been predestined, predetermined. We really don't have choices. We only have the illusion of choices. So everything from the day we so-called transition from this life into the next life, our mistakes, our blunders, the people that we wrong, the people that wrong us, our trials, our tribulations, how much money we have, how much money we don't have, our careers, everything in our lives have been predestined. There's no way around it. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing anybody else can do. Powers that be, whatever. It is what it is. It's been cemented. It's been fossilized before the foundation of the earth was even laid. That's 144,000 now. My spiritual brothers and sisters, which the good book refers to as the chosen ones, these are the ones who received the call. Not everybody's going to receive the call. Reach out to this ministry, guys, if you have follow-up questions or anything that I say. And I always encourage you guys to do your own research, your own study. Don't take my word for it. Do critical thinking. Do your analysis. Reach out to the ministry if I can provide you with study material, research material to cross-reference, or research that you've done, research that I'm presenting, et cetera, et cetera. So the chosen ones are the ones that's going to receive the call, and they're going to follow that call. They're going to answer that call and follow the truth / follow the Lamb wherever it leads. The chosen ones are given choices, options. They can choose, or they can not accept the call, or they can choose to answer that call. The call being when, whatever truth is they have been awakened to about the world, things they need to change about themselves, etc., etc. Whatever truths their eyes have been open to, whatever path that they, walk or don't walk, or places they hang out, etc., etc. Jobs, careers, all these things, they have choices. But when they get that call, they answer that call, and it causes them to, that call, the instructions, the downloads that come from this thing that we call God, instructs them to maybe let this go, whether it's a person, place, or thing, embrace this, whether it's a person, place, or thing, make this change, make this adjustment, whatever the case may be. And they are, in order for them to go from the called ones, many are called, but few are chosen. In order for them to go from the called ones to the chosen ones, they have to keep making the changes, keep making the adjustments, keep following the truth / the Lamb, this person most commonly referred to as Christ, wherever he leads. Now again, they have a choice. They can, and some will, totally ignore the call. Hey man, they got this inclination down deep within their spirit. They got this impression deep down in their spirit that they need to change, that the truth of the matter is this, and they can totally, some are just going to totally ignore that call. Whether it's out of fear, or whether it's out of convenience, whether it's out of, just wanting to stay in, safely inside the box of life, if you will. Some are going to totally ignore that call. Others are going to follow the call. They're going to answer the call, and they're going to follow the instructions. But at some point, it's going to become too difficult. It's going to become too challenging. It's going to cost them so much. Friends, family, having to make changes in their own lives. It's going to become too weird, too taxing. And then they're going to, because they have a choice, pull out of the call and go back to the ways of the world, or, go back into their former selves, whatever. So that's the difference. I want to set the table just real briefly about that, because today's message is about, again, the 144,000, and not the called ones in and of themselves, but the called one who are determined to go from being called to being chosen. Remember, many are called, but because they aborted, because they neglected, they for whatever reason they didn't continue to follow that truth and the instructions downloaded. Once they answered that call, then they were just called. But the chosen ones, that's who we're talking about, the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This is who today's message is for. And I titled today's message as your job description, the job description of both the 144,000 and the separate group, all one family, all working for the same kingdom, all going to the same heaven, all here to advance the kingdom right here on earth, etc., etc. But to those two different groups that are on the same team, let's talk about your job description. Let's start with the 144,000, guys. The first thing you need to be able to do, again, these are just bullet points. Always, if you have any questions, follow up with the ministry. I always leave that email link down in the description box. And we'll talk about the ministry and the services that are provided by this ministry towards the end of the video. But for now, if you are amongst 144,000 and only you know that, it's an independent thing. I just did a video, perhaps you guys watched it. If you haven't, check it out. It's titled Your Immortal and Independent Soul. The same thing when it comes to, that ties right into today's message. So your position, your truth as being 144,000, it's not dependent on what the world says. It's not depending on even what religion says. It's not depending on your finances. It's not depending on the mistakes you've made. It's not depending on your political views. None of that. It's totally independent in that it is between you and this thing called God, and being a member of the 144,000. It's also immortal. Nothing can happen. Nothing can change that. That's just the way it is. Again, you being a member of the 144,000, if you are amongst them, you have been cemented and fossilized, etched into stone, if you will, when it comes to who you are, the days that you're going to live, your trials, your outcome, etc., etc. So the first thing you have to do as a member of the 144,000, if you have to accept who you are. You have to accept who you are. Period. Now this is a classic. Everything simple is not easy. This is a classic. Everything simple is not easy, because it's very simple, but oftentimes it's not easy, because when you, being a member of the 144,000, when you walk in the footsteps, when you walk in who you are as a member of the 144,000, it's a classic. You know what? They hated me first, and I'm quoting the person that we most commonly refer to as Christ. And this is a classic example of what the 144,000 go through. Again, remember, the chosen ones, which we'll talk about here in a minute, they have choices. So they don't necessarily go through these things, not to these extents. And even if they do, they can modify their position, they can make adjustments. And then we just talked about the ramifications of them not following the Lamb wherever it goes. But the point is, Christ said the world hated you, specifically the 144,000, but even the chosen ones as well. But the world hated you, even more so the 144,000. The world hates you. If the world hates you, know that they hated me first, this person that we call Christ. If you were of the world would love you and embrace you as one of their own. And no one stands diametrically opposed, in opposition, square peg in a round hole, to the world like the 144,000. So when you walk this path and you're committed to being who you are, it's very brutal. It's very challenging. There's seasons of doubt. There's seasons of loneliness. Seasons of confusion. Seasons of all manner of trials. You will be tested beyond all measure, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nowhere you can run. You can't fake your way out of it. You can't sneak your way out of it. You can't buy your way out of it. That's just the way it is. And you have to accept that, being a member of the 144,000. And part of that, accepting that, is all of the disappointment, the betrayals that you're going to have to go through, the self-development that you're going to have to go through to make sure that you are being refined by these fires of the world and the hate that the world is levying against you, all the attacks by the enemy. You have to be able to accept it all. You really and truly do. And one of the things that you have to do in the midst of all these storms is, again, we're talking about your job description. I'm just being very brief on each of these. One of the things you have to do, guys, is to commit to self-mastery. Self-mastery. Not in and of yourself. This is not a self-discipline thing. This is not a thing about, intellect. This is not a thing about anything other than the Spirit of God. This is the only thing that could really, really lead you to true and total, unequivocal self-mastery, which ultimately is the only true mastery in the universe. The only thing you could ever have complete and total, eternal control over is yourself. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond, the way you adjust, the way you learn, the way you grow, your attitude, your personality, your authenticity, your conduct, all these different things you have to learn self-mastery. It's a number one part, or that's a premium part. I'm not necessarily putting these in any chronological order, but that's a pivotal part of what you need to do, a pivotal part of your job description as a member of the 144,000. Another one is making sure, again, all these kind of feed off of each other, and so in order for you to achieve that self-mastery, in order for you to do some of the other things on this list, in order for you to walk through those fires, not be consumed by those fires, and to clear that mountain, and do all the things that we know are in accordance with His divine timing, you still have to perform. And so one of the things that's going to that you're going to need to do as it relates to your job description is to have daily spiritual rituals, daily spiritual practices, whatever word that works best for you. You have to be able to do this. Prayer is a real thing. You have to be able to keep your spirit man, your spirit woman uplifted, encouraged, strengthened, renewed, revitalized, and whatever works for you in terms of doing this. For some of you, now again, check out the video that I will mention towards the end of the video. But also, you can go online nowadays. You can do your research and just be aware of what works for you. Some of you that may be just, pardon me, taking a warm bath. Some of you guys that may be taking a cold bath. Some of you guys may be hitting the gym. Some of you guys that may be spending time in nature. Some of you guys that may be spending time with your favorite pet or your favorite activity, a pastime. This ministry provides all kinds of different spiritual, clean-hearted spiritual practices are designed for the specific purpose of making sure that your spirit man and your spirit woman stays renewed, revitalized, flush out all the toxins that the world is going to levy your way, and all of the mistakes and blunders and things you're going to have to overlook and double back just in order to correct. In order to keep you, your spirit man, operating at a premium, it's going to take daily, day in and day out practices, just like clockwork. And depending on, again, what works for you, it could be acts of random kindness, acts of self-love, just acts of tolerance, perhaps even physical therapy, aromatherapy, and so forth and so on. Again, this ministry recommends all kinds of different things that are designed to make sure that you can implement something each and every day to make sure that your spirit man, a spirit woman, is operating at a premium. And those rituals, those habits, those practices, they have to be just like 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around the clock. Every single day. This happened Monday. It goes through the week every single day. The next thing you know, it's Monday again. You don't ever have a week where it's Monday and then Thursday and then Sunday. It's always Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So your spiritual rituals, day in, day out, whatever you do in the AM, whatever you do, in a toxic situation, whatever you do to cleanse your energy, whatever you do in terms of your prayer, your meditation, what you do right before you go to bed, it has to be zeroed in to a T. And let me try and speed this up already, guys. And again, that's why the email link is always down there. It's for your follow-up questions. Let me definitely try and speed this up, though, guys. Another part of your job description, and it's wrapped into what I just said when it comes to self-mastery, is your emotional control. Controlling your responses, controlling your focus. These are part of your job description. Learning to grow and to improve your emotional intelligence as well as your emotional discipline. That's a part of your job description. Being real brief here, guys. Another thing, again, is being able to zero in on your focus. Being able to control your focus. You said you need to do this. You need to get your rituals in, whatever the case may be. You need to save that extra money at the end of each paycheck. Whatever it is that's working for you, you need to that he has said you need to do. You need to have that down packed, cemented, and fossilized, and let nothing interrupt that. Let nothing come between that. Whatever he has told you to improve on, you need to be focused, zeroed in on that, and not get tossed to and fro. Several days went by, you haven't done your prayer rituals. Several days went by, several weeks went by, you haven't saved a penny or a dime because you lost your focus. You went into the job place, whatever, and you let that person piss you off when you said whatever was appropriate. You're going to smile and be kind, or you're going to walk away, you're going to change cubicles, whatever it is. You lost focus, and 2-3 weeks that went by, whatever the case may be. You haven't done those things, so you have to also be able to remain focused. This is 144,000 I'm talking about. You have to make sure that you also continue your research, your study, and your growth and evolution, because along this path, and this is true when it comes to the chosen ones as well, along this path, what you did today may not be good enough for tomorrow. And what you did for today may be too much for tomorrow, whatever the case may be. And whether that's a literal day-to-day thing or whether that day is 5 years, 2 weeks, 6 months, whatever. You have to be continuing to research, to study, to grow and evolve, to follow the Lamb wherever he leads you to. So again, hit me up if you have any follow-up questions. I may have to make a chapter 2 when it comes to the chosen ones, but let's see. So again, as far as 144,000, you got to continue your research. You got to continue your study. You got to continue pushing on, pushing forward, and you got to make sure that a part of your job description is to, after all the study and all the eye-opening, your awareness of who you are, what your responsibility are, you have to, by the grace of this thing we call God, you have to, it's required for you as a part of your job description to actually walk in that wisdom. Actually walk in that wisdom and set examples by way of the way you walk. So you have to learn to walk in that wisdom. Wisdom is a walk. It does me. It does you. It does whoever. No amount of good if they know all the knowledge in the world, but they don't put it to use. How does that benefit a person? You know all the answers to the test, but when you go to the test, you don't write them. You don't zero in. You don't focus. There's that word again. And so the situation does not turn out the way that you know that it's supposed to. So again, you got to walk in that wisdom, being able to walk and say, hey, this is a clown over here. It would be easy for me to just check them or put them in their place. It would be easy for me to just dumb down and pretend I don't know what's going on. It would be easy for me to, kiss up, whatever. But wisdom requires this. Wisdom says you should do that. True wisdom says you should respond like this. So wisdom is a walk. So learning to walk in that wisdom is definitely a real thing, guys. And you got to stop trying to fit in. That's another thing. That's a part of your job description. To realize that you are literally a square peg in a round hole. You don't fit in. You wasn't meant to fit in. You're not here to fit in. You're here to fit out. You're not here to stand amongst. You're not here to stand amongst the crowd. You're here to stand out in the crowd. And pardon me, those of you who are amongst 144,000, you know that you've always stood out in the crowd. When you look back on your life, even when you were making bonehead choices, even when you didn't have any money, even when you were overweight, even when you were running the streets, whatever it is, even when you whatever it was, before you had it so called together, before you have grown and evolved to where you are now, when you look back, no matter what, you always stood out in the crowd. You always stood out in the crowd, and that's what you're here for. And so you got to realize that now is the time for you to embrace that and stop trying to fit in. I know there's those seasons of loneliness. There's those seasons when you can't make a dime seemingly because everybody has committed to boycotting your business, and it's so easy for you to fit in and get those extra dollars, those extra clients. That's something I face quite often, guys. Quite often. It'd be very easy for me to fit in and, make the small talk that's, nothing wrong with that, but, it's, if the energies doesn't resonate, and I know I could, go in there and have a conversation or add something to that, and that would give me an opportunity to get or at least market to some potential clients. But why would I do that? Why would I try to fit in? No. I know that God will provide. I know that. And in the seasons where, if there's a season of drought, then so be it. But I don't, try to fit in. So stop trying to fit in, guys. You are the anomaly. You are the so-called weird person. You are the so-called unusual person, whatever they want to call it. But the good book says you are a peculiar person, a royal bloodhood, a royal priesthood that's set aside. You're not here to fit in. So let them call you weird. Let them call you strange. Let them call you whatever. Other words that are interchangeable with that are some very self-empowering words. Instead of, strange or weird, you can say rare or unique, special, anomalous. So it's all you being able to realize that you don't have to fit in. He says that your gifts will make a way for you. You don't have to make a way for your gifts. Your gifts, your intellect, your humbleness, your gift of prophecy, your gift of tolerance, kindness, courage, whatever your gifts are, they will make a way for you, and you don't have to fit in to make a way for your gifts. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm definitely going to make a chapter 2 and talk about the chosen ones. Now, another thing as it relates to your job description as a member of the 144,000 is that you are required to remember your responsibility to the kingdom of heaven. You have to remember your responsibility to fulfilling the path or the race that he has set before you. And you got to remember to stay focused on your position and your responsibility as a leader when it comes to the chosen ones. This is why the 144,000 are here, to lead, to guide, to inspire, to teach, to motivate, to comfort, to carry, to push, to shove, to lift the chosen ones into the kingdom of heaven. That's our sole responsibility, which is to advance his kingdom and open this doorway for the chosen ones to be able to come into existence. So we got to remember that it's not just about us. It's about the chosen ones who are out in society and they're trying to get things figured out, and they're being having to deal with this toxic environment. They're being given false information. They're being laughed at, talked about, mocked, shamed. They're being deceived, and the only way that we can open this doorway, if you will, is by us remembering that this is bigger than me. This is about the kingdom of heaven, and this is about the people that I'm here to help lead into the kingdom of heaven. And so my attitude, my conduct, the way I comport myself, the way I deport myself, it all has to be in alignment with his will. You have to show the 144,000. You have to show the chosen ones who are sitting back, and they are getting, some have gotten a call. We talked about that, and I'll make another video about the chosen ones, but we talked about that. They've gotten a call, but they're just as confused as we are or once were. The toxicity, the pressures, the trials, the rising gas prices, and the desire, natural human desire to want to fit in and get along and have others, and just say, hey, turn a blind eye and say, hey, that just is what it is. That's the way of the world. They're dealing with all these things, and it's our job, it's our responsibility to show them that you don't have to succumb to those things. You don't have to, pardon me, you don't have to turn a blind eye to the existence of those things and the fact that there's a better way. So we got to remember our responsibility. We are the special forces, if you will, of the military. Let's use a military operation. We're the special forces, the 144,000 small yet potent group of individuals who go in and do the reconnaissance. They set the traps. They kind of set the table, if you will. They do the research, the study. They figure things out. They operate behind enemy lines, and if and when need to, they can blast through enemy lines, even though they may be outnumbered. So 30 or 40 special forces agents, whether it's frogmen, Navy SEALs, etc., 30, 40, or 50 of them guys can go out and do the job and wipe out 1,000 800, whatever number of the enemy forces to open this doorway so that the main army can then come in. So we have to remember that, guys. It's bigger than us. It's more important than us as it relates to our physical existence. So we have to lead by example. We have to keep that in mind. Now, so that's a brief breakdown of just some of the things that I'm referring to as your job description. It's obviously there's a lot more to it than that. Sorry about that. Obviously there's a lot more to it than that, and this is the purpose why the email link is always put down in the description box. If you have any questions, reach out to the ministry. If you'd like prayer, research material, study material, etc., reach out to the ministry. Now, as far as the ministry itself, guys, please watch a video that's titled MBS Service Tutorial. I told you what this ministry is all about. And for those of you guys who are new and hadn't heard it before, it's a mind, body, and spirit ministry. The MBS Service Tutorial video that I recommend and offer to you guys is a video that's going to describe the services that are provided by this ministry to help you achieve this holistic mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness, to merge, balance, and synthesize all aspects of you. So again, that's MBS Service Tutorial. Please check that out. If you have any follow-up questions, if you're interested in any of the services, or you'd like to schedule your initial consultation and evaluation in any or all of the services, hit the email link. I'd love the opportunity to speak with you. Guys, also please do me a personal favor, and that is to watch a video that's titled My Testimony and Disclosure. That allows me the opportunity to glorify this thing that we call God, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So for services, MBS Service Tutorial, and to get some information about myself, the origins of the ministry, and allow me the opportunity to glorify God by way of you watching that video and me putting that story out there for his glory. That's titled, again, My Testimony and Disclosure. I believe that's everything, guys. If you got value out of today's message, then please help the ministry, guys. And I want to thank you guys for all the love, support, the generosity, all the effort that you guys put into this ministry. It really, really means a lot to me, guys. And this is why we're here, guys. We're to help one another, to assist one another. And so if there's any way this ministry can be of assistance to you, reach out to me. I'd love the opportunity to speak with you. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to this ministry, I'm going to leave an email link down in the description box. I'm going to leave a Cash App link down in the description box, and it doesn't matter if you donate a single dollar, or as they call it, buy me a cup of coffee, or if you donate $100 or more. Give according to your heart, give according to your wallet. It's not the amount, it's literally the thought that counts. And it really does send a powerful message out to the universe, saying that these are the type of thoughts, these are the type of beliefs that you are in alignment with, and these are the type of things that you like to see more right here on this planet. So again, thank you guys for all the love, all the support. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit the share button, guys. Please start with the share button. Somebody may need to hear this, and I've done my part. I can only get it out there to my viewers, to my supporters, but now you guys have to take on the responsibility of doing your part. Reach over there, share the message. If it nourished you, if it benefited you at all, share the message, guys. And then if the Holy Spirit moves you to do so, be sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, and hit the bell icon for notifications when I upload a new message. Remember, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry, guys. You have been anointed. You have to assume the God-given responsibility that has been given to you to make sure that regardless of what's going on, your mind, your body, and your spirit remains as beautiful, as healthy, and as vibrant as possible. You've been anointed for that. This ministry has been anointed to help you achieve that. So reach out to this ministry if I can be of assistance for you. To you guys, I look forward to seeing you guys in chapter 2, where we're going to be talking about the job description of the chosen ones. But that's what I got for you guys. I love all of you guys whose hearts are in the wrong place. Thanks again for all the love, the support, all the things you guys do. and definitely receive your harvest, because he has promised you a harvest, that whenever you plant good seed in good ground, you receive that harvest. Receive it by faith, guys. I love you all whose heart are in the right place. I'll see you guys in the next one. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.